just after successfully passing the civil service examination and getting a stable job. I was transmigrated into a good-for-nothing and malicious supporting female character. The female lead, a budding starlet, dragged me to participate in a learning variety show as a contrast group. When it comes to learning, the female lead is full of pride. Why marry into a wealthy family? For girls, achieving academic success is the most important thing. When I was interviewed, I was down to earth. After passing the civil service examination and getting a job, I want a stable job. Everyone burst out laughing. Later, on the day the female lead got married into a wealthy family, I led people to conduct a tax inspection. Netizens couldn't stop laughing. This is a real slap in the face. After being transmigrated into a good-for-nothing and malicious supporting female character, I was furious. God, you are not fair. Just after I passed the civil service examination and got a job, you made me transmigrate. Transmogration is fine, but transmigrating into a supporting character. A supporting character, right? Even if I am a supporting character, I will live a more brilliant life than the female lead. Moreover, who said that a supporting female character must be malicious? In the eyes of outsiders, I, Maeve, am flamboyant, malicious, and always trying to trip up the female lead Arya and chasing after the male lead Holden. This time, Arya, in order to break the rumor that we are sworn enemies, insisted on dragging me to participate in a learning variety show. Breaking the rumor is false. The real intention is to make me look bad and set off her noble image. What a pure white lotus. Using me as a reference? I am not the same as before. When the host asked about Arya's specialty, she smiled gently and said, I am actually very stupid. I only know how to study. Unlike Maeve, who has learned singing, dancing, and playing the piano, implied that I am good for nothing? I didn't rush to clarify either. Even if I clarify, no one will believe it for a while. In front of the camera, I am extremely calm. No matter how demanding the learning tasks given by the program group are, I will patiently complete them one by one. Moreover, I can memorize books half an hour faster than her. Arya looked at me and said with a smile, I didn't expect that Maeve can be quite serious when she wants to. Sister, do you have nothing else to praise? I shrugged and showed helplessness. No way. Only after finishing memorizing books can I sing, dance, and play the piano. Who let me love these things? Arya's mouth twitched, almost losing her temper. As soon as the show was aired, netizens uniformly commented, Maeve is still somewhat intelligent. I underestimated her before. No wonder smart people can do everything. Not only intelligent, but also excellent. Okay? No. I want to turn from a hater to a fan. Arya panicked. She opened a live stream overnight to predict college entrance examination essay topics, to prove her image as a top student. I don't care whether she really predicted or not. I only care about how many points I can get on the college entrance examination paper. Look. I am doing practice papers live. Netizens supervise. 1 table, 2 pens, 2 pieces of scratch paper, and a college entrance examination paper in front. Start writing. After a night, after I finished the paper, I posted it on Weibo for netizens to grade. Exactly 600 points. Comments. Isn't this much better than the one who just talks big next door? This sister is really doing it. Awesome. She still remembers high school knowledge even after graduating for several years. Top student. Please accept my admiration. What top student? Clearly a top scholar. Okay? The person who predicted the topics didn't get a single one right. I just like this sister's tough and silent style. No matter what, Maeve is my idol. Probably Arya also knew that she had made a fool of herself. She still tried to find an excuse for herself. I just want to prove that we girls achieve academic success, not to marry into a wealthy family but to improve ourselves. We come to this world once. We should live a glorious life for our ideals. When the camera was on me and asked, Maeve, why are you studying so hard? I answered, after passing the civil service examination and getting a job. I want a stable job. Arya's true fans couldn't sit still anymore. At this moment, they attacked me like crazy. What are you pretending? Just her still passing the civil service examination. How did she pass? By cheating? Oh right. The haters didn't believe that I could get 600 points in a closed book exam. They all accused me of cheating. Cheating? Seriously. With such abilities. They really don't deserve to be my haters. Very good. Under my stimulation, Arya started to build her image and stack up her advantages. Today she writes a beautiful essay. Tomorrow she makes an English self-introduction. The day after tomorrow, she takes out an Olympiad math bonus question. Her fans also praised her vigorously below. My idol is really amazing. She is excellent in all aspects of learning. This is a real top student. Unlike the one who cheated and got 600 points in the exam next door. That's right. Does she think we haven't taken the college entrance examination? Are we blind? Is 600 points in the college entrance examination very impressive? Anyway, in my previous life, I got 713 points in the college entrance examination and was the provincial champion. I didn't care about anything else and only focused on getting a stable job. I live streamed from 8 in the morning to 9 in the evening. Except for having a meal. I was doing exercises and taking exams. I only needed 3 months to prepare for the postgraduate entrance examination. For the civil service examination, 3 months should be fine too. My live streaming room has become a large learning check-in point. Those haters were still enthusiastically coming to bomb my comments section before, saying that I was pretending and seeing how long I could pretend. But after half a month, I had finished several batches of materials. They found that there was really nothing to criticize about me. Then they turned from haters to fans. From time to time, they also helped me refute new haters. It's not necessary. It affects my study. During the weekend variety show recording, a domineering president was invited this time, handsome and wealthy. As soon as he appeared, everyone turned into prairie dogs. I smacked my lips. This is the male lead in this novel. Holden, the only heir of the Moo group. Also my childhood sweetheart. Unfortunately, he doesn't love the original owner. I looked down at my curvy figure, flawless skin, and delicate features comparable to a Barbie doll. Just looking in the mirror, I would fall in love with myself. So beautiful yet not loved. Is Holden blind? I turned to look at Arya beside me in a white dress. She has a delicate appearance and a shy and delicate charm like a willow. A typical white lotus. Indeed. It makes people feel a desire to cherish. Completely in different leagues. Sure enough. The moment Holden saw Arya, his indifferent eyes softened. Arya spoke softly. Hello, brother Holden. I am Arya. I laughed to death. Didn't she say she wouldn't marry into a wealthy family? This eager look. Does she think others are blind? Holden looked at her with interest. Your name is Arya? TSK. There is a huge name tag with her name in front of Arya. Are you blind? Arya blushed and stood up shyly and said, Brother Holden, you can sit in my seat. I can sit in the corner. Otherwise, Maeve will be angry if she doesn't sit with you. Holden looked at me unpleasantly. Maeve, don't bully others just because you are rich. I was baffled. Bully? I didn't even say a word. Okay? How can you randomly put a label on me? Holden said with a sullen face. Apologize to Arya now, and I will forgive you. I gave him a blank look and said impatiently, if you are sick, go see a doctor. This male lead is not only blind but also has a problem with his brain. Arya bit her lip and looked aggrieved. Maeve, how can you scold Brother Holden? He is just kind-hearted and never bullies others. He just saw me being wronged and spoke up for me. I won't allow you to slander him. Look. This is the temperament of a white lotus. With just one sentence, she controlled the domineering President Holden. Holden glared at me. Miev. I warn you. Don't bully Arya anymore in the future. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. After saying that, he took Arya's hand and walked towards the empty seat in the corner. Excuse me. Is this a Mary Sue domineering novel? Suddenly, I remembered that this scene had also happened in the novel. At that time, the original owner slapped Arya. Then Holden slapped the original owner. Finally, when the show was aired, everyone said that the original owner was a cruel and malicious woman. They all stepped on the original owner and praised Arya for being kind and generous. Really kfing ridiculous. I'd better stay away from this male and female-led. The program group held a mental competition. Arya said confidently, I like mathematics the most. I usually play Sudoku when I am bored. Everyone says that girls are not as good as boys in mathematical logical thinking. This sentence aroused the resonance of many girls present. They applauded wildly. Holden's eyes were full of admiration. The host also showed an approving smile. If a shape has different patterns on 6 faces, how many ways can it be unfolded? Arya pressed the bell immediately and answered quickly. 66. The host hinted. Think again. Arya said firmly. This question tests logical thinking. Just unfold it. I whirled my pen lazily and sneered. Is it that simple? Then I slowly explained. At the beginning, there are 4 faces. Then add 6 faces. 4 times 6 is 24. 24 times 11 is 260 for faces in total. The host exclaimed, calculating the correct answer in 30 seconds. Maev. You are very smart. I smiled slightly. Well, after reading books, singing, dancing, and playing the piano, I play Sudoku. Arya's smile was a bit forced. Holden pursed his lips and said disapprovingly, Maev. Don't think that you can attract my attention like this. You really have a serious problem. After the show was aired, many fans began to call me the strongest brain. I am not that amazing, but it's still happy to be praised. As a result, after live streaming at home, there are still some brainless fans of Arya criticizing me below. Isn't it just a bit stronger in logical thinking? What's there to brag about? Isn't it awkward? If you really have skills, play a game of Flying Flower Order with me on a video call. That requires real skills. I raised my eyebrows. Is there such a good thing? I directly connected the video call. The hater was very surprised. You really dared to play Flying Flower Order with me? I am very good. I have even been on TV. I rubbed my sore neck and smiled. How good can you be? You give the topic. The hater provocatively said. If you lose, you have to admit that Arya is the best. I nodded. What if you lose? Then show your face and tell me in person that I am your eternal god. Immediately, the atmosphere became lively. The number of people in the live streaming room also increased from 3,000 to 12,000 and was still growing rapidly. Who doesn't love watching gossip and excitement? The hater gave the topic. Say a poem with the word willow. There are many of these. I didn't need to think at all. The hater said one sentence and I said one sentence. Finally, after more than 300 sentences, clothes turned into dust on the ancient road. Willows contain the short and long pavilions of spring. The hater admitted defeat. He also kept his promise and turned on the video. The moment he showed his face, the fans in the live streaming room exploded directly. Damn! Whose handsome young man is this? Can he be so handsome? I couldn't help swallowing. This young man is really good looking. The handsome young man was a bit shy. Maev. You are my eternal god. I smiled faintly and couldn't help teasing him. Little friend. Are you an adult? The handsome young man's face flushed instantly. And his gaze was also a bit evasive. Yes. I am an adult. I smiled and asked him again. Do you have a girlfriend? The handsome young man shook his head and said obediently. Sister. I don't have a girlfriend yet. The barrage was full of crazy, a WW. They were all perverts. I yawned and said, "That's it for today's study. I am going offline." The handsome young man was a bit reluctant. "Sister, are you going offline so early? Aren't you going to study anymore?" I chuckled. "I have finished studying. I am going to sing, dance, and play the piano." The barrage was all Before hanging up the live stream, the young man shyly said to me, "Sister, I am very happy to connect with you." Oh, now the haters are quite polite. It must be to attract my attention. After hanging up the live stream, Holden's call came immediately. He was furious. "Maev, why are you bullying Arya again?" "What did I do?" My hand that was tittying up the test papers paused. "Did I do something wrong when I was doing the test papers live just now? You still don't admit it?" Holden gritted his teeth and said, "Just now, after Arya watched your live stream, she cried. No matter how I asked her, she wouldn't say. How dare you say you didn't bully her?" I finally reacted, and was extremely speechless. I didn't even mention her name in the live stream. How did I bully her? Holden didn't listen at all. "Maev, you are still so malicious. I won't talk to you anymore in the future." Listening to the busy tone on the phone, I was furious. I immediately rage-dialed. Holden snorted coldly and said smugly, "Now you know you are wrong? As long as you apologize to Arya, I will forgive you." I directly unleashed my full firepower. "Apologize to your big head. Don't you have a mirror or water at home? Don't look in the mirror and see what you are. Forgive? From now on, if you are sick, take medicine. Don't call me anymore. You are crazy." After scolding, I directly hung up the phone. My mother looked at my bad complexion and asked, "Maev, did you quarrel with Holden?" I replied, "I was bitten by a dog." My mother. That night, I furiously did 10 sets of test papers and felt refreshed. Sure enough, there are gold houses and beautiful women in books. It is very important to stay away from these two idiots, the male and female leads. During the live stream the next day, the little milk dog was online early and greeted in the barrage, "Sister, I will study with you." I ignored him and started doing test papers. No one can affect my preparation for the civil service examination. Now my live streaming room has become a holy place for learning check-ins. There are still people asking questions below. And there are really people helping to answer. The popularity is stable at around 30,000. Arya was anxious because she was learning in various ways every day. But there were fewer and fewer people in her live streaming room. So she applied to connect with me live. I agreed. Arya was wearing a pink strappy top and a rabbit headband on her head. She sweetly greeted the fans in my live streaming room. "Hi, everyone. I am Arya. I am very happy to see you here. The fans in my live streaming room are all here to check in and read seriously." Only a few fans greeted her sparsely. Arya pouted and said a grieved lie. "Why doesn't everyone talk to me? Did someone say something bad about me?" Pointing fingers and scolding Hui in my live streaming room. At this time, the little milk dog explained, "No. Sister's live streaming room is a serious reading check-in live streaming room. There is no chatting. Everyone is studying quietly. This is the truth." But in Arya's ears, it is satirizing her. So, her face turned pale, and she was tearful and said, "Why humiliate people like this? Just because there are few people in my live streaming room. So you bully me? I am also studying very hard. Why are you like this?" The little milk dog sent a few dots, indicating speechlessness. I was almost choked by the cake. What kind of thought process is this? Holden connected for a video call. I just wanted to refuse, but accidentally clicked accept. Holden was angry. "Maev, I have warned you long ago not to bully Arya. Don't think that just because we grew up together, I will forgive you again and again. There is a limit. If there is a next time, I will make you look good." After saying that, he went offline with Arya, leaving me looking bewildered. The little milk dog was astonished and sent a barrage. Why did they both seem to have some problems with their brains? It was really an unexpected disaster. The fans in the live streaming room exploded. Do you think Arya has some tea-art skills? What you said upstairs is the truth. Am I the only one who thinks that not only Arya has tea-art skills, but this president is also like a psycho? Stick to our Maev. Do the questions. Pray for a passing grade at the end of the term. External activities cannot affect my reading. Of course. Except for recording variety shows. Originally, I thought that after the previous farce, Arya should stay away from me when she saw me. As a result, she actually took the initiative to come to me and took my hand. Maev, let's let go of what happened in the live streaming room last time. It doesn't matter to me. We are still good friends. She even had an expression of forgiving me. I looked at the camera beside me and smiled. Are you referring to the incident in the live streaming room last time when you wronged my fans for looking down on you? Arya pouted and said a grieved lie. Your fans are so unqualified. In this era, we have freedom to wear clothes. Just because I am wearing a strappy top, they say I am not decent. With one sentence, she led the direction of public opinion astray. At that time, there were indeed people leading the rhythm, but she clearly said that others humiliated her. She is really good at avoiding the important and emphasizing the trivial. Some people started to make remarks. Women have the freedom to wear clothes. Okay? As long as they are comfortable, they can wear whatever they want. Why are there such disgusting fans? Where is it not decent to wear a strappy top? What kind of fans there are? There is what kind of anchor. I used to like her quite a bit. Now I turn from a fan to a hater. We support Arya. She is beautiful and kind-hearted. This is the real big female lead. Arya gave me a smug look. Manipulating public opinion is her strength. I pursed my lips and was about to speak, when a familiar voice rang out. Can you speak human language? Why is it so strange? I can't understand a word. In the live streaming room, I didn't pay attention to what clothes you were wearing at all. Where did the idea that what you were wearing was not decent come from? I have also visited your learning live streaming room. It is your freedom to dance and sing in short skirts every day. No one said anything about you. Sister is taking the civil service examination. She must be doing the test papers of previous years. Otherwise, what else could she be doing? Clear and logical. Every sentence hitting the nail on the head, making Arya's face turn pale. Holden frowned slightly. Who are you? It's actually the young master. I heard that he has been growing up abroad and just returned to the capital. The Gu family, the head of the 4 major families in the capital in the novel. If the Gu family stomps their feet, the capital will tremble 3 times. Raphael looked at me nervously. Sister, I didn't mean to hide it from you. I have always wanted to explain to you. But you keep doing test papers. I touched my nose. He did want to tell me something several times, but I found it annoying. No wonder he applied to connect with me. It turns out that he has something going on. He actually came to the variety show too. Raphael is a new specially invited guest. In fact, he spent 3 million to invest and got in. I asked curiously, what are you doing here? Raphael's clear eyes were full of undisguised liking. Sister is alone here. It's very lonely. So I came to accompany sister. I blinked. How can studying be lonely? Raphael pouted and motioned for me to look at the 2 people who were sticking close together. Arya was grinding ink, and Holden was painting with a brush. The picture was very beautiful. I sneered. Just them? I can take on 25 people alone. As I said that, I rolled up my sleeves and was about to grind ink. Raphael reached out and stopped me. Sister paints. I will grind ink for sister. Calling sister, one after another. Who can resist that? The saying that men and women working together make the work less tiring is true. I verified it. Raphael is very capable. Not only can he grind ink, but he can also pass water, massage shoulders, and tell jokes. For the 3-hour painting time, I didn't find it long for the first time. Today, a master of traditional Chinese painting was invited to appraise. During the scoring stage, Arya looked smug and said, "Brother Holden has been learning traditional Chinese painting for 10 years. The plum blossoms he painted are even more beautiful than those in the gallery. There is definitely no problem getting first place this time." At this time, Holden's painting was also shown on the big screen. It was indeed painted well and had the style of a master. The master of traditional Chinese painting stroked his beard and nodded. "It's really good for non-professionals to paint like this." Holden's mouth curled up, accepting everyone's praise. Raphael smacked his lips and said disdainfully, "Is that all? It's not even half as good as sister's painting." I was modest. I didn't paint that well either. Arya covered her mouth and chuckled. "Me Ev, don't joke around. You haven't learned traditional Chinese painting before. If you try to attract attention, you will be laughed at by everyone." Holden glanced at me disdainfully. I gave him a big white eye. Raphael was unhappy. "Then let's make a bet. If sister's painting is better, the two of you will say in front of everyone that my sister is your eternal god." He is good at being awkward. Arya nodded without hesitation and said, "Then if Maev loses, she has to apologize to Brother Holden in person and quit the program group for such an unfair treaty." I nodded and agreed. Then I looked at Holden provocatively and said, "Do you dare?" Holden put his hands in his pockets. "What am I afraid of? As long as you don't cheat later." I sneered. Who can't act pretentious? Soon it was my turn for my work. A lifelike cycad deer was drinking water with its head down. Beside it were majestic mountains. In terms of artistic conception alone, I completely beat Holden's plum blossoms. Not to mention that I also outlined the details very well. Before transmigrating, I represented the city to participate in a traditional Chinese painting competition and won the gold medal. The master of traditional Chinese painting exclaimed, "This is also an entry? Amazing! Amazing! This level of attainment can't be achieved without 20 years. Who is this contestant? This talent is even higher than mine. Do you have a teacher? How about looking at me?" A good ordinary competition has turned into a scene of finding a teacher. I smiled and accepted all the praise and honor. Raphael stood beside me, smiling even more brightly than me. Arya looked at my painting and stood beside it with a pale face. If it weren't for being on the show, she could probably overturn the table directly. Raphael reminded Holden, "Arya, you lost. Please start your performance." Arya bit her lip and looked embarrassed. Holden frowned. "Did you paint this?" I sneered. "Want to cheat? Don't want to fulfill the bet?" Arya pretended to be pitiful and said a grieved lie. "We were just joking just now. It's not fulfilling the bet. Why are you so aggressive?" I was amused by these shameless words. I spread my hands and said inferently, "It doesn't matter. If you don't want to apologize, then don't. After all, face is your own. Anyway, they have lost all face today." Arya immediately said, "We were actually prepared to fulfill the bet. Since you said you don't want it yourself, then we won't say it." Raphael blurted out directly. "Damn. So shameless." Arya's eyes were filled with tears. "How can you curse?" Obviously she said it herself. Holden gave me a complicated look as if he didn't expect me to be so magnanimous. In fact, I am not that magnanimous. It's just that I didn't expect them to be really shameless. I reached out and patted Raphael, who was about to explode with anger, and smiled. "Don't worry about it. Justice is in the hearts of the people." With this move, my popularity was at its peak. Fans commented, "Traditional Chinese painting can best reflect a person's heart. How bad can a person with such a good painting be?" Arya and Holden's faces became even darker. They also didn't expect that they would be the ones who got hit by the stone they lifted. Now I am extremely popular, and Arya's fans can't sit still. Her fans searched for a long time. And the only thing that is somewhat controversial about me is getting 600 points in the college entrance examination practice. So, this time, the program group came up with a test paper with a difficulty similar to that of the college entrance examination as a surprise attack to make the program even more popular. Arya was a bit stunned when she got the test paper. I, on the other hand, laid out a scratch paper and started doing the questions directly. When I was halfway through the questions, I raised my eyebrows. Host. For question 4 of question 3. The question is not rigorous. There are 2 answers. Suddenly, all the classmates in the examination room looked over. This time, Arya didn't jump out. Instead, she bit the tip of her pen and looked at me with some resentment. Holden's look at me became even more complicated. This time, no one questioned me anymore. This is real strength. After the exam, I got 691 points. Raphael got 673 points. Arya got 481 points. Holden got 413 points. The real and fake top students are obvious at a glance. After the recording ended, Holden stopped me and said in a condescending tone, "Miev, you did well today." When Arya saw this scene, her face immediately collapsed. I directly ignored him and walked towards the door. Raphael also followed along. After finishing the materials, it's time to restock. Studying makes me happy. Someone once said that the easiest thing in the world is studying. It's true. As long as you work hard, there is a return. I successfully got the first place in the written test for the position I applied for. As long as I succeed in the interview, I will be stable. The variety show is finally coming to an end, reducing pressure on one front. Since I have already taken the written test, I now have a lot of time to pamper myself, go shopping, get a haircut, and put on makeup. Looking at the beautiful woman in a long red dress in the mirror, she just gets more and more beautiful the more I look at her. Just when I was happily admiring my beautiful little face, Arya came out after changing clothes. She was also wearing a long red dress. However, her appearance is a bit plain and can't hold it up. I really didn't expect to meet her even when I go shopping. She pouted. "Maev, why do you like imitating my clothes so much?" I fiddled with my big waves and sneered. "Where is your usual school uniform? Why didn't you wear it today?" Suddenly, she raised her chin again and looked at me arrogantly. "You think imitating me can help you marry into a wealthy family? Dream on." I looked at the skirt on her body with a half smile. It was simply incomparable to mine. At this time, Raphael came to pick me up after changing clothes. He has been very clingy to me recently. Even under the guise of studying, his eyes are almost always on me. "Sister, you are so beautiful," Arya scorned. "You still say you don't want to marry into a wealthy family." I touched my delicate little face. "Is there only wealthy families in your head? With my such a beautiful little face, it must be dedicated to the country." At this time, Holden also came out of the fitting room. When he saw me, there was a flash of amazement in his eyes. Arya quickly stepped forward to block me and pull Holden out. "Brother Holden, am I beautiful today?" Holden said perfunctorily. "Beautiful." Raphael found that I was staring at Holden's back and was a bit jealous. "Sister, is he so good-looking?" Only then did I come to my senses. "Huh? What's good-looking?" Raphael was puzzled. "Weren't you looking at Holden?" I smiled. "What's so good-looking about him?" In the novel, something important happened today. The original owner was caught cheating in the final exam on the variety show because she hadn't studied for a long time. Not only was her reputation damaged, but also the family company was attacked by public opinion and business plummeted. Holden also proposed grandly to Arya. She became the winner in life. At this time, I looked at Raphael beside me with clear and stupid eyes. Suddenly I remembered that wasn't he Arya's fanboy? But he never seemed to protect Arya. Raphael was a bit embarrassed by my gaze and said shyly, "Sister, am I especially handsome today?" I blinked. Raphael. Let me ask you a question. Raphael immediately became serious and solemn. Sister. Tell me. I licked my lips and asked. Aren't you Arya's fan? Raphael hurriedly explained. No. I am not her fan. Pretending to be her fan before was just to get your attention. It turned out that Raphael accidentally saw me on TV and thought I was very beautiful. Coincidentally, he brushed into my live streaming room again. But he found that whether he sent gifts or chatted, I ignored him. So, he thought of using a hater to attract my attention. Okay. This generation of kids knows how to play. The last episode of the variety show began. For this final exam, I knew I was stable as soon as I saw the test paper. However, Arya didn't look good. She flipped through the test paper but didn't start writing. During this time, she didn't study either. Instead, she made lunch boxes for Holden every day. Their relationship grew rapidly. I was the first to hand in the paper and got full marks first, winning applause from the whole audience. Although it's just a learning variety show, the program group still invited a famous professor to issue diplomas and certificates. Just when it was time to receive the award, Arya stopped me. She pursed her lips and asked me with her head down, "Can you give me this award-giving opportunity?" I was stunned. What? Arya's face was a bit ugly, but she still repeated it and explained in a low voice. My mother likes this professor very much. When I participated in the program, I promised my mother that I would definitely get his certificate and diploma. Anyway, this certificate doesn't mean much to you, but it's really important to me. It was the first time to see her speak so humbly. In the original plot, she was the center of attention. She got first place in the exam and naturally got the certificate and received praise from everyone. But this time, all the glory is on me. I smiled. Arya, I won the first place with my strength. Why should I give it to you? Arya's face was displeased. Why are you so selfish? As she said that, tears fell down one after another. It seemed that she had suffered a great injustice. You didn't read books at all before. But this time, you suddenly did so well in the exam. It's just because you can't stand Brother Holden being nice to me. So you deliberately provoke just to prevent me from getting the award. You just want to attract Brother Holden's attention and take away my mother's hope for me. Maev, don't you think you are being too excessive? I was immediately amused. Arya, do you remember what you said before? You said that you want to prove that girls' academic achievements are not for marrying into a wealthy family, but for improving themselves. Coming to this world once, we should live a glorious life for our ideals. But what about you now? All you think about is Holden. Where is the Arya who studied hard before? Where is the tenacious Arya? You didn't win the award this time because you didn't study hard. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Having said it so bluntly, unfortunately, Arya still didn't understand. She immediately ran to cry to Holden. Holden strode towards me. His brows were slightly wrinkled, and he was a bit displeased. Maev, it's just an opportunity to go on stage and receive the award. You give it to Shashyu. If it weren't for her dragging you to this variety show, you wouldn't have won this award either. Since it's something that originally belonged to her, it's only right for you to give it to her. I put my arms around my chest and carefully looked at him. How could he say such shameless words so naturally again and again? I suppressed my temper and said, "This is an award I got with my own ability. What does it have to do with her?" Holden interrupted me coldly, his eyes full of impatience. You are good for nothing anyway. Even if you win this award, it's useless for you. You are just trying to attract my attention. Now that you have achieved your goal, since it's all for me, what's wrong with listening to me and giving it to Shashyu? As he said that, he nodded naturally. In the original book, it was written that as long as Holden spoke, the original owner would agree without principle. But unfortunately, I am not the original owner. I am neither a love-struck fool, nor an idiot. You have made enough trouble these days. I don't like girls with a bad temper. You should change it in the future. I can still treat you like before. Then his brows wrinkled again as if reluctantly. I am free on Sunday evenings. You can bring me lunch boxes. Don't come to me at other times. I looked at him like looking at an idiot. If you are sick, go see a doctor. If you really have no money, I can give it to you. But please go and see a doctor for your brain. Being publicly humiliated like this. Holden was really angry. His face darkened. Me, Ev. Remember what you said today. Don't expect me to talk to you again in the future. Raphael standing nearby had shining eyes. Sister. Don't you like Holden anymore? I knocked on his forehead. Are you deliberately disgusting me? Raphael grinned from ear to ear. The photos and videos of the professor personally awarding me the prize fermented on the internet. Only then did I know that he was actually the vice principal of Tsinghua University. His identity is indeed very impressive. Fans formed a study group and checked in under my Weibo every day. They also affectionately called me the top scholar. And my career also blossomed. I succeeded in the interview and got the job. I happily took my little brother Raphael to the bar to celebrate. Coincidentally, we met Holden and Daria. Just when I wanted to change places. Holden strode towards me. He suddenly grabbed my hand and pulled me outside. He was stopped by Raphael, who seemed harmless. Holden could only say in a low voice, Maev, let's talk. Looking at Arya, who hurriedly chased over. I said inferently, just say what you want to say here. Holden frowned unhappily. After being silent for a long time, he still slowly said, Maev, congratulations. You won. I have been thinking about you these 2 days. Although your temper is bigger than before. You are not obedient anymore. And you still like to lose your temper. But it doesn't matter. I will try to accept it. I took a few steps back and looked at him inexplicably. I don't understand what you mean by winning or losing at all. I don't need you to accept my temper at all. Holden smiled confidently. Maev, using too many means is boring. These days you have been imitating Sheshu just to attract my attention. I underestimated you. You have always wanted to marry me. Right? I agree. I was amused by his inexplicable confidence. Holden showed a domineering president's smile slightly. I know. It means the man who is the most trustworthy in the world. Many girls in the company have praised me like this. Raphael, who had been quiet all along, burst out laughing. I suppressed a smile and started to explain. Holden's face immediately darkened. I added, also, everything I do is never to attract your attention. Because in my eyes, you are just like an ordinary passerby. So, I hope you can recognize your position and don't come to me again. It's really unlucky. Holden was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He left a harsh word. Maev. You will regret it. Arya hurriedly followed him out. Gu Jing's eyes sparkled. He handed me a glass of wine. Sister. You were extremely cool just now. Let me toast you. Suddenly. I smiled brightly. Whether it was cool or not was secondary. Double happiness. On the first day, when I just started working at the tax bureau, I received the wedding invitation of Holden and Arya. The invitation was outlined with gold thread. It was luxurious and delicate. When the director passed by my workstation and saw the invitation, he raised his eyebrows. Maev, do you know Holden? I smiled faintly. Just a former classmate. Not familiar. The director nodded. That's good. This Friday, we will go to the Mu Group to conduct a tax inspection. In the evening, Raphael came to pick me up from work. He was driving a supercar and holding a bouquet of roses. He was extremely flamboyant. Sister, how was your first day at work? I smiled brightly. Very good. After taking the civil service examination twice, I finally succeeded in getting a job. Could it be bad? I was in a great mood all day today. My colleagues also asked me why I was so happy. A stable job. Isn't it something to be happy about? After returning home, my moments was flooded with Holden and Daria's wedding photos. My mother asked me pityingly. Maev, if you are unhappy, let's go and crash the wedding. My mother patted my hand. You have liked Holden since you were young. Although he is a good person, your father and I always feel that he is a bit too cold and hard to warm up. But as long as you like him, then your parents will fully support you. My father also sighed sitting nearby. I seriously explained. Mom and Dad, I really don't like Holden anymore. My mother was shocked. Ah, then do you like Raphael? This young man is good. But he is a bit too young, right? My father was also a bit hesitant. As for the Gu family, Dad is not very familiar with them. Then I will visit told Mr. Gu tomorrow. I quickly interrupted. Mom and Dad, don't be too ridiculous. Why do I have to like a man? My mother frowned and looked puzzled. Didn't your dream before be to be a good wife and mother? Under my repeated assurances and vows, my parents really believed that I didn't like Holden anymore. As for Raphael, for the time being, he is still regarded as a younger brother. As for the stable job, isn't it great? On Friday, Holden and Daria got married. My mother looked at me still wearing my work uniform and frowned. Maev, are you going to attend their wedding wearing this? Isn't it too casual? I chuckled and casually adjusted my badge. Mom, don't worry. We will definitely be the most grand today. My mother was puzzled. Lee? I smiled and nodded. Of course. It's us. The whole bureau is mobilized. Amu family's accounts have been reported to the province. We can see how serious it is. At the entrance of the Musi Hotel, Holden and Daria were standing at the door to welcome guests. Holden saw me at a glance. He pursed his lips and his expression was cold and proud. Maev, are you regretting now? I curled my lips. This is exactly the question I want to ask you. Holden sneered and was extremely disdainful. In my life, I have never regretted anything. Arya, who had been nervous all along, finally breathed a sigh of relief. She raised her chin arrogantly and looked at me. Maev, I and Holden are already married. I hope you can be more self-aware and stay away from my brother Holden. I smiled slightly. Arya, do you really like Holden? Whether rich or poor? Arya said resolutely. Of course. I love brother Holden himself, not the wealth behind him. As she said that, to show her sincerity, she looked at Holden affectionately again and said, Brother Holden, I will always be by your side. As long as you are tired, I will be your haven. Holden was moved. His eyes were full of tenderness. Many guests nearby envied. This is love. I burst out laughing. Arya was unhappy. Maev, today is my and brother Holden's big wedding. Why did you come wearing this? Isn't it very impolite? I frowned slightly and pointed to the badge on my cuff. I couldn't believe it. You said I am impolite in what I am wearing. Arya snorted coldly. Otherwise? Everyone else is wearing formal dresses. Isn't it very impolite for you to cosplay? If you don't have money, tell me. I can send you some clothes. I was speechless with laughter. No need. This set of clothes is the most valuable one in my closet. As soon as these words came out, everyone curiously stared at my clothes. Arya showed disdain and contempt. At this time, someone nearby exclaimed, Isn't this the uniform of the tax bureau? Immediately, Holden's expression changed from indifference to solemnity. At this moment, my colleagues from the bureau also arrived. Ordinary official cars couldn't compare to the luxury cars everywhere here. But they stopped firmly in the C position. 7 or 8 official cars. My colleagues got off in a swarm. I smiled. The reminiscing is over. I have to go to work. As I said that, I took out my work ID from my pocket, put it around my neck, and turned to merge into the large group. Sisterly also helped me tidy up my clothes conveniently. The director walked up to Holden, took out his work ID, and said coldly, Mr. Holden, Someone has reported that your group's finances are falsified and there is tax evasion. Please cooperate with our investigation. There were many reporters on the scene. This scene was completely filmed and uploaded to the internet. It directly became a trending topic. The fans couldn't stop laughing. It turns out that I wasn't joking. I really passed the civil service examination and got a job at the tax bureau. In front of me. These wealthy families are all trembling. That night. Arya blocked at my door. Furious. Maev. Just because you are jealous that I can marry Brother Holden but you can't. So you went and reported him? If you can't have it. You destroy it. You are so malicious. I shrugged. It wasn't me who reported it. I don't have such great ability. Although Holden had intercepted my family's orders before. Fortunately, the relationship between our parents' generation is very good. They won't cut off their feelings because of their children's affairs. Anyone with a brain can think of this. Seeing that I didn't want to pay attention to her, Arya anxiously grabbed my hand. I can believe you too. Unless you ask your director to release him. Does she have some serious problem? As an ordinary clerk. I asked the director to release Holden, who has been investigated for 3 months. Arya cried bitterly. Maev. You can't be so malicious. I just married Holden. I haven't enjoyed a day as a rich wife yet. What should I do if he is taken away? Now the Mu family all thinks that I am a jinx. They won't even let me in. Maev. Please. As long as you say a few words to the leader. You can save me. Otherwise. My life will be ruined. I shook off her hand and looked at her pitifully. When I read the novel before, I admired her quite a bit. I thought she was tenacious. Although her family background was not good, she was diligent and hardworking. But how did she live her life step by step like this? Oh, it was on the variety show. When she tried to trip me up to attract Holden's attention, and was hit by a huge surprise. How could she still be down to earth? However, I had already said what I should say to her. She didn't listen. There is never a way to wake up a person who is pretending to be asleep. Soon, Holden was released. The finance person took all the blame for falsifying accounts onto himself. Unexpectedly, the first thing he did after coming out was to come to me. He was also holding a bouquet of sunflowers. This is the flower that the original owner likes the most. He no longer had his previous arrogance. Instead, he hesitated for a moment before asking, Maev, is there still a possibility for us? I shook my head. Holden was a bit anxious. Why not? I am innocent. It has already been found out. If you are concerned that I was married to Arya, don't worry. I will divorce her as soon as I go back. I married her not because of love. I just wanted to anger you on purpose. After this incident, I finally understood my heart. There are many cute and coquettish girls. But an independent and excellent girl is unique. I looked down at my watch. The movie was about to start. If I was late, Raphael would make a fuss again. This little kid now coquettish shows his ABS from time to time. If I didn't go earlier, how many little girls would he harm? So I interrupted him. Holden, don't be moved by yourself first. I am in a hurry. Let me finish speaking. In fact, you don't like me at all. Nor do you like Arya. What you like is just yourself. You enjoy the eager flattery and love from girls. If I hadn't worked hard to become excellent, you wouldn't have said these words to me at all. Love is the deepest softness in the bottom of one's heart. It may appear on an ordinary afternoon, or it may appear in a sunny summer. It is the palpitations when looking at each other. It is the sweet spring when sharing joys and sorrows. It is crying in each other's arms when reaching the peak. It is also the simplest appearance of everything in the world. Looking at his anxious look, but being speechless when trying to explain. I sighed and added, Holden, I hope that one day you will find the person you love. I wish you happiness. Don't commit crimes again. Never see you again. I drove the car and watched his figure slowly disappear on the street. I am not sad because I know that someone is waiting for me ahead. It can be Raphael or a better self. The breeze is gentle. Tonight. The moonlight is just right. Raphael was waiting for me at the entrance of the cinema with movie tickets and popcorn in his hands. He pouted. You are already half an hour late. Today Holden is out. Did he come to find you? Did you forgive him? I took the popcorn and chuckled. I am an excellent girl selected by the country. How could I like him?